The Oniric Theater of Puppets is an adventure puzzle game that introduces new interactive modes with environments where time is a pivotal element to solve riddles, to create atmosphere, and to support the narrative. The opening cinematic act introduces the story of an old puppeteer who lost all his puppets except for one, the protagonist of the game. Through this one puppet, the player's objective is to find and save all the other puppets. Each one of them has its own story with its own peculiar little theatre. The player has to solve riddles in different environments with the Oniric dimension that are different from one another. A book is the tool that helps the player throughout the game to collect all the pages with the many stories of each of the puppets. The minimalistic interface allows the player to be totally immersed in the game. In the four corners of the screen, we find the inventory, where the player can collect objects from the theatres to use them or examine them. The options menu, which is graphically integrated in the interface. The clock, which is utilitarian to the game. And of course, the book. The theatres are objects, but also environments which can freely be explored and where the player can interact directly or through the puppet. There are therefore two interactive modes. When the puppet is not active, the focus is the theatre. The player can explore, examine, and interact directly with the object. Instead, when the puppet is active, he becomes the focus of the camera. In this mode, the player can interact with the elements present on the stage only through the puppet. In the Oniric Theater of Puppets, time is an important game mechanics. The player must use the clock to manage time. In this way, he or she can alter the dynamics of the game, whereby changing the narrative according to predetermined paths, thus creating a very compelling challenge. Time management is supported by an important change of the game's mood, which amplifies the experience of the player and the narrative. The prompter is a little game within the game, a separate scene available in each theatre. Here, the player has to recompose the puppet's face, like in the 15 puzzle game, to obtain a hint for the game itself. The graphic of the game is inspired from the 1800s to create an aesthetic between Gothic and theatrical. Everything is condensed into the dimension of a walking theatre. Therefore, the metaphor of the puppet journey, as well as the player, is the dreamlike dimension. In conclusion, the Oniric Theater of Puppets will immerse the player in a unique experience. A journey in a completely new dimension with intense and ever-changing atmospheres. The attention to details is the key that attracts the player's eyes, seeking clues to solve the various riddles while they immerse themselves in the various stories of the puppets who populate these strange and bizarre theatres.